now we'll get ready for a deep low lunge with the back knee down. So place a blanket on your sticky mat as you see here, and that will be the padding for the knee that will drop down. And then stand at the front of your sticky mat with a block on either side of each foot. Stand tall in mountain pose. Stand tall in mountain pose with energized legs. And then bring your hands down to the blocks and step your left foot back. Gather the outer right hip back and in. Lift the back thigh up. Lengthen the spine from bottom to top. Long trunk here, long abdomen. And let your hips sink down to be the height of the front knee. And then let your hips sink even further down as you reach the left thigh further back, and then place the left knee down on the blanket and then untuck your back toes. So the front of the shin and the front of the foot and the back leg is resting down on the blanket and the sticky mat, and sink your hips forward and down. So the whole sacrum is relaxing and releasing forwards, and then lift your low belly so that you lift your trunk up and out of the pelvis. Bending deeply in the front knee, pull the outer right hip back. Pull the right femur back towards the hip socket. Pull the outer right hip back and also towards the midline. Gather your hips towards each other. Lift the low belly. Kick the back shin into the sticky mat. And then tuck your back toes under. Lift your back thigh and step your back foot forward. Then now step your right foot back, first coming into a simple lunge. Gather the left femur back towards the hip socket. Lift the back thigh. Let your hips come down to be the same height as the front knee. Gather your hips together and lengthen your spine. And then walk your right leg even further back. Extend that right thigh further back. Sink your hips down and then lower the back knee down onto the blanket. And rest the top of your back foot down onto the sticky mat. Kick the right shin down into the ground as you take your hips forward, letting the whole sacrum move forward. The tailbone moves into the body, and then lift your low belly and gather your outer left hip from the outer knee to the hip socket. So the outer left hip gathers back and in towards the midline. Squeeze your outer hips together, lift the deep low belly again, and lengthen through the anterior spine, kicking the right shin down. Bending deeply in the front knee. Smooth breathing here. And then tuck your back toes and lift your back thigh. And step your back foot forward. Bend your knees, relax and release your head down. And then take your hands to hips and stretch your chest forward to come on up. And now lay down on your back for a pose that I call Windshield Wiper. Have your knees bent and feet flat, feet pretty wide, wider than the sitting bones. Neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Stretch your arms out to the sides at shoulder height. And then walk your feet even closer to your sitting bones and even wider. And then keeping your feet planted, lower your knees down to the right. And enjoy this gentle twist as the right knee falls more to the right and the left knee falls more to the right. Slide your shoulder blades down your back and lengthen your spine. And feel the position of the pelvis relative to the spine. And feel the position of each femur relative to the hip sockets. And then lift your knees back up to the center, feet staying grounded, and lower the knees over to the left side, letting the femurs move in the hip sockets, letting left knee heavy falling to the left, right knee heavy falling to the left, and enjoy the spinal twist. Get longer in your trunk here as you breathe. And then inhale back to the center and exhale your knees over to the right side. Inhale your knees up to the center and exhale the knees over to the left side. And then inhale back up and continue like this, moving and breathing together. And especially focus on the movement of the heads of the femurs in the hip sockets. Continuing. And see if you can go a little deeper into the pose in the next couple of rounds. And then come up to center. Now we'll practice a simple groin stretch. Start on your back with a neutral pelvis, neutral spine, knees bent and feet flat. Legs are parallel, and stretch your arms overhead. Lengthen out through the arms. And then stretch the legs as well and roll the thighs internally so the fronts of your legs point straight up to the ceiling. And be very long in your limbs and in your trunk here, creating length. And then keep that length in the trunk, in the left leg, and bring the right knee towards the chest, towards the right side of the chest, even towards the right armpit. And grab onto the right knee with both hands and clasped fingers. And stay long in the abdomen, long in the spine. Extend long through that left leg. Roll the left thigh in and ground the left thigh bone down towards the floor. And then grab the right knee with your right hand only, as you see here, and start to pull your right knee out to the right. Stretch your left arm to the left at shoulder height and open up that right knee out to the side. Stay long in the left leg and play with moving around that right knee up towards the armpit, down towards hip level. And see if you can explore a groin inner thigh stretch here as the right knee opens out to the right. And then bring the knee back to center and pause here. And then stretch your right leg out, lengthening it out as you bring your left knee towards the left side of your chest. And grab onto the top of the left shin with clasped fingers. And pull the left knee towards the left armpit as you stretch the right leg more. Internally rotate, especially at the very top of the right thigh, and ground the right thigh down. Stay awake in your feet, toes spreading. Long spine. Don't let your abdomen become hardened. A receding, long abdomen. Open chest, shoulder blades sliding down your back. And then stretch the right arm to the right as you take the left knee in the left hand only and start to pull the knee over to the left so the knee stays bent. And you open that left knee out to the left, staying active in your right leg. And play with some movement here, taking your left knee up towards the armpit or down towards hip level. Explore the range of motion here as you enjoy the groin opening. Reach the inner right foot forward and take your knee out to the side even more, deepening the stretch. And then take your knee back to the center. And then place your left foot down. Bend your right knee and place your right foot down. And have 2 blocks handy now for Setu Bandasana with 2 blocks under the sacrum. So lay down with knees bent and feet flat, neutral pelvis. And have 1 block near your left hip and 1 block near your right hip. And then ground down through the feet. Feet are a little wider than sitting bones. Press your arms down to lift the hips up. And then gather your blocks together so the blocks are on the highest height and they come directly adjacent to each other so that you can rest your sacrum right onto the blocks. So take a moment to find a place where your sacrum, right around the upper buttocks, feels very supported. And then interlace your fingers around the block and walk your shoulders closer together underneath you. Ground down through the arms. Let the buttocks, let the sacrum rest onto the support of the blocks. Press the shoulder blades into the rib cage so the chest moves towards the chin. Stay grounded in the feet. And then as you stay here, you can start to relax more and more. So you might find that you'd like to release the interlace of the fingers and just let your arms relax here with the palms face up. And breathe here, smooth inhalations and steady exhalations. Hug your shoulder blades into the rib cage, gather your outer knees towards each other, and then lift the heels to lift the buttocks and remove the blocks, and then roll yourself all the way down till the pelvis is resting on the sticky mat. Now we'll practice a lovely, simple version of Supta Baddha Konasana without any props. So lay down on your back and adjust the flesh of your buttocks so it moves away from the lower back. And then bring the soles of the feet together and the knees open. And we'll do this with no support so that gravity is your prop here. Gravity is what's helping you and informing you in this pose. See if you can just surrender your legs to gravity. And let your shoulder blades slide down your back and then stretch your arms out in a Savasana position so that you can relax here. Let your trunk and spine be long. See if you can breathe here with your whole body. Relaxing the pelvis and the buttocks, relaxing the groins. Feel where your body is making contact with the floor. Contact with the sticky mat. And then start to lift your knees up. You can use your hands to help you if that feels right. Feet flat. And then roll over to your side to come on up.